Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Bushcraft Family, with another video. And today we are going to talk about 15 things or 15 items FEMA doesn't want you to have. And you can kind of see these things by what they expect you to have during, emergencies or natural disaster or, something like that. FEMA knows something that you don't, and it could cost you everything, and I mean everything. 72 hours of food, a flashlight, and a whistle. Do you really expect us to believe that's all you need? Really, stop and think about it. Look at the people over in North Carolina. Look at the people over the fires in California. Are they back in their houses after 3 days? Where are they getting their food at? Do you know they're getting food? Do you know they're getting clean water? It's something to think about, isn't it? Now, I'm going to go through this list. This list is very interesting. Now, some of the stuff I don't agree on, and it's kind of, it makes sense and kind of doesn't make sense in a roundabout way. And we'll get to that whenever we get to it. Now, I'm going to put up images, and hopefully this slideshow actually works. Our first one is water filtration system. They don't want you to have this. They don't want you to be able to rely on your own skills to, purify water. And this could be from anything from a 5-gallon bucket system, filter system, whatever the case may be, depending on the water that you will be using to clean. Because some of it is really muddy stuff, and if you stick it in a Berkey, that Berkey is going to be useless after 1 or 2 uses, if you even get that far with it. The same thing could be with, chlorine or iodine purification system, the water pills that are supposed to sterilize and purify your water and stuff. You may need to have other ways, and like you see here is other ways, having a system to where it starts with the gravel, the sand, debris, things like that, to where it can filter some of all that gunk out. Then you run it through your Berkey or boil it, whatever the case may be. That being said, our next one here is medical supplies. Yeah. And I'm not saying it has to be, you go to the pharmacy and get this and that and the other thing. But there are some people that are on certain types of medication that, if they don't have a way to get to the pharmacy or whatnot, or there's no pharmacy, there's no electricity, whatever the case may be, you never know. It's a good thing to have a supply put back. And other forms of, medical supplies, and I'm not a doctor or anything about, is herbal remedies. I think herbal remedies are a very important resource to learn about. And again, always check with your doctor and all that stuff. But we are going to move on to our next one here. And the next one is gold and silver. Yes, gold and silver. I'm not a fan of stockpiling bunches of gold and silver. I would rather have the actual, edible thing and supply of water and supply of resources to make food and go hunting for food, those kind of things. Now, it's not a bad idea to have something like that, gold and silver, but don't break your bank. Don't have, 50 pounds of metal in your bug out bag and only have 1 or 2 nights of food. Kind of doesn't make sense because you can't eat that. But it's not a bad suggestion. It really isn't. Our next one here, you kind of get it. We're in America. Firearms and ammunition. Yes. One of the easiest ways to protect you and your family, not to mention ways you can resource food and whatnot. It's a good idea to have a good supply of ammunition with your little buddy. And number 5, real important, is long-term food. And this could be in forms of, as you can see in the image here, canned goods. And I mean stuff that you've canned because it lasts a lot longer than the stuff that you get in the store nowadays. Plus, who knows what all this stuff is inside those cans. I would rather have a jar of chicken that I know what I put in there. I've canned it. I know when it was canned. Than some of the stuff that you're going to get in the cans in the store and stuff. So yeah. Our next one, number 6. And I know there's a lot of people who agree with this one, especially 101. CBs and or ham radios. Some sort of communication. And you would stop and think about it. FEMA wouldn't want you to be able to get in communication with friends, family, or somebody to trade with, or to know what's going on in the next county, the next state, the blah, 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 blah. Those kind of things. So it's very important to have a resource of, communication. Our next one would be number 7. And this would be gas mask and protective gear. Protective gear can be gloves to the little paper white outfits, yellow outfits, whatever, but a gas mask, other types of mask, those types of things would be, very important. Very, very important. And I would rather have a gas mask and never use it than not have one and need it, because that would be very important. Our next one, as you can see, is seed bank, seed vault, whatever, some way of storing your seeds. And it could be, stocking up on, high protein, high yield type of high calorie, types of things. And that's why a good thing, Survival Seed Collab that is being run by the Vineyard Chicks, and I'm a co-host with that. Lazy Days Ahead, Jesse and Lisa also co-host. That's a good thing to get into, and to learn how to save your seeds, grow the stuff, and learn from everybody else. You could store up stuff for like corn, potatoes, winter squash, beans, wheat. There's all kinds of different types of grain that you could do. You can also just grow radishes. Radish can grow within less than a month. Lettuce, spinach, kale, Swiss chard, turnips, beets, zucchini, carrots. You know, if you're in an area, you know, this is long-term type of situation, but fruit trees. There are some dwarf type trees. In a few years, you could have some fruit from those. Berries is great, and they're good for other purposes too. Our next one here is, some may agree with it and some don't, but again, this is something FEMA wouldn't want you to have. And it's, you know, night vision means you can navigate safely while others are stumbling around in the dark. You can see what's out there, and you can, while you get it. I mean, it's common sense. And sometimes that little thing could save your life or save family members. Our next one, bug out vehicles. And, you know, something four-wheel drive, I would suggest something on the older side. Nowadays, everything's got a computer in it, and you need a computer to make things work or to turn off a sensor or whatever. You never know what you're going to get into with these newer cars, and the older ones, they're so easy to work on once you get the basics down. Now, one of our next things here tends to be expensive and everything, but yeah, body armor, or, you know, a helmet, you know, those types of things, something to protect your knees, your shins, your hands, those types of things. Nowadays they make the gloves to where you could allegedly ward off knife attacks and things like that. They have guards on for your vulnerable areas to where you could ward off attacks, physical attacks, not to mention the ones that go banging at night. You know, those kind of things. And our next one here is, yeah, it's kind of obvious that it'd be a good idea to have something to recharge the things that you would need. A solar generator, even if you're just using it for a light, you know. But one of the things that you know, a ham radio or CB, or, you know, a radio to keep communications, you wouldn't want to be able to charge those things up. And again, you would think the government would want you to have these things to keep in communication. That way you would know what government aid's coming and stuff like that. But again, look at North Carolina. Look at the funny stuff that went on with that, with FEMA. Yeah, okay. And with that, alternative energy sources. It could be batteries. It could be an alternator on a bicycle. It could be a water mill or a windmill power. Other ways that you can, get power or something like that. And that would be very important. Very important. For long term or short term for that matter. Our next one is bartering supplies, and on this list you can see some of the stuff. Gas would be something good to trade. It's kind of hard to store up gas because it goes bad so fast, but there are other things on there like alcohol. There's ways to start a fire. Again, the gold and silver stuff. Something as simple as toilet paper, bleach, batteries, water, food. These things could be used to barter for stuff or services that you could need. And our last one here, which I think is the most important one of all, and that is knowledge. They don't want you to know how to do all this stuff. They don't want you to know how to go out and get your own food and water. They want you to rely on them. That way, when you rely on them for your food and your water, they own you. That means if you want to live, you have to do what they say. You have to go where they want you to go. If it's in a camp, allegedly, you never know. And with that, our list is done. And it's something to think about. And I'm sure you guys can come up with a lot more things that would be very important to have. And these things are not on the list of things that FEMA wants you to have. They want you to have 3 days of food, 3 days of water. That there alone should wake people up and say, hey, why only 3 days? Because you're going to run out of that come 4 days, and guess who's going to show up? If you're lucky. Again, look at the stuff that's going on in North Carolina, still. California, that's one of the richest states in the United States, and these are people who are still camping out in tents. I mean, it's not cold weather or anything, but still, they're still camping out in tents there, just like they are in North Carolina. And they're still waiting for FEMA to give them some water and some food and stuff. And that $500 or $600 or whatever it is not enough. Until next time, like always, guys, God bless.